Eliyokim Cohen, Jews News Briefs, Facebook.com/Jews News. That's our fan page. Our goal is to get 100,000 Jews on this fan page. Coming to you live from Jews News World Headquarters. It's a very tall and important building. That's why we wanted to put our show here, because we're hoping it becomes the biggest Jews show in the entire world. I am not coming to you from my living room like some people that emailed me think that I am. Anywho, so our sponsor today is Bigger Bidder. It's an auction site. It's a penny website. Anything that you bid on that you don't win, that money that you spent can be used to buy stuff, so you technically have nothing to lose on that site. And as usual, I'm coming to you with my good friend, my puke bag, in case any of the news today gets pretty ridiculous and too tough to handle, which it often does. And I'd also like to let everyone know, as a side note, that my makeup and stylist person, Debbie, is not here today, which is why I might look a little bit ragged. She was taking her hamster to obedience school. What? Anyway, let's start off with some Today in Jewish history, like we always do. Today in 1948, Russia recognized Israel. I don't know what they recognized in us, because I don't think that's done much good. But much to Stalin's dismay, he lost the recognition race to the United States. I'm just picturing Stalin trying to run, that complete psychopath that he was. He actually was in favor of Israel because he thought of us as a wedge that would lead to the breakup of the British Empire. I don't think the losers in Britain needed any help breaking up their empire. Do you? They did a pretty good job of that themselves. Anywho, let's move right along to our top story. Prime Minister Netanyahu added a new little twist on his peace conditions. I'm going to read the 5 conditions, and I'm going to pretty much tell you what this means in real life terms. The Palestinians must recognize Israel as a Jewish national state. The treaty must be an end to the conflict. The Arab refugee problem must be solved outside of Israel's borders. A Palestinian state will have to be demilitarized, and a peace treaty must safeguard Israel's security. And the new one is that the settlement blocks will remain within the state of Israel, and Jerusalem will remain its united capital. So, I don't know if anyone follows this conflict carefully. I happen to, because I live here, and I am in this affected area. I live in Samaria, which is where these delusional Palestinians are planning on just declaring a nation right in my backyard. Anyway, so the thing that he added was the settlement blocks. He didn't say that in his Bar Ilan speech. And the Palestinians have said, absolutely not, over my dead body, to every single one of these things in the past numerous times. Because they pretty much view it like this. Pretty much what Prime Minister Netanyahu said to them was, hey, I'd like to, take you on a date and, maybe you'll be my girlfriend. Oh, but I just want to let you know one thing. I'm going to cheat on you with your sister. I'm going to hate your mother. I plan on running over your dog. I'm going to make you sleep on the porch, and I'm going to make you cook all my food. I mean, why do we have to keep going through this rubbish all the time? There's not going to be peace. Two people are fighting over the same thing. No one is willing to compromise. I mean, this is just insanity. Every single day I wake up to the same nonsense. I wouldn't even have to do this show if we were just smart and said, bye-bye, our land, God gave it to us. But we keep going through this nonsensical rhetoric day after day. Is anyone else sick of this? I mean, peace, peace. Oh, if Israel's not in, making peace, peace of what? We're going to have a piece of paper? Look what's happening in the Muslim world. All these leaders, Mubarak, is now begging his own people not to kill him. You can't make peace with a leader, and then, 3 seconds later, a new leader comes in that hates you. This is what's happening in the Muslim world. Egypt hates us now. Syria just marched on our borders. Why can't we just realize the fact that everyone in this neighborhood hates us? Why is that so hard? Why does everyone need to be loved? I don't mind getting hate mail. I get enough of it. No big deal. You just put it in the spam box. Anyway, Barack Hussein Obama, I like to stress his middle name because I think it's important, is going to be giving a speech sometime this week. His new groundbreaking Middle Eastern speech. So he's likely to stress that we need to stop our settlement expansion in the West Bank because that could be construed as an act that further changes the status quo on the ground. Are missiles being shot into Israel a change of the status quo? Riots? Firebombs? Suicide belts? Why doesn't anyone ever speak out about that? Why when my, community builds a kindergarten, does that bother people? Why did the cute little girl down the street finger painting? Why is that? What? Philip? Hi, Ima. I'm just doing my show. I didn't know that you had a Twitter account. I should follow you. I'd be happy to. I didn't know you had the account. That's why I wasn't following you before. I know that Joe follows his mother, but Joe probably knew that his mom had a Twitter account. Okay. I love you, Ima. It's like she knows that I'm having my show right now. Moving right along, Abbas, our lovable furry friend, just gave a speech to the op-ed to the New York Times, which, along with the United Nations, is the organization that detests Jews the most in this entire world. So the gist of his thing, I'm not going to read it all because I'll probably fall asleep, it's so nauseating, is that we need to make peace with them now because this will rectify the 1947 partition plan that Israel happened to accept, they happened to decline. Interestingly enough, in his comments, he completely left out the fact that about 20 different Arab nations started a war with us right after this refusal of theirs to accept the plan. Yet, for some reason, us making peace now will be like our apology before for actually accepting the plan. I mean, it's too early in the show to use my puke bag. Let's move on. This one will make you laugh. So the new IDF Chief of Staff, Benny Gantz, yesterday gave a speech on what he thought the incident in the north was, where about 2,000 to 3,000 Syrians just overran our border. Imagine if they had guns, weapons, anything. 3,000 people just coming into our border. That's called an act of war. Anybody realize that? We're still at war with Syria. So this was like one of the most genius comments. I don't know if he's has a PhD or doctorate. They asked him about the incident and he said, "Not good." I mean, we just almost had a bloodbath on the border. We showed complete weakness, stupidity, being ill-prepared, letting people walk into our country and plant a Syrian flag in our own land, and all we get is not good. Anyone else have a problem with that? Because I have a big problem with this. Why is the guy in charge of our security, first of all, why does he have to say not good? That's all he can elaborate on? Not good? And how about, I knew that they were going to try and charge the borders. Why? Because on the Jews News Facebook page, again, it's facebook.com/Jews News, you can join it, the Muslims have been saying for the last 7 weeks, we're going to charge your borders. So, we have the Mossad, we have the Shin Bet, supposedly, the greatest security on earth. Why did they not know that these Muslims were going to charge the border? I'm not even getting into the fact that why didn't we shoot every single one of them, because that's an act of war. But I don't like hearing not good from the Chief of Staff. I'd like something a little better. really want to throw up. Actually, here's something very, very fascinating. Glenn Beck, who is very, very right-wing, he does some very, very pro-Israel things. This is what he said. He wants to have a rally here in Israel, most likely on the Temple Mount. For some reason, he cares about the Temple Mount, and we don't, even though it's the most holy place on earth for us. Not the Western Wall. The Western Wall is not the most holy place on earth. It's a wall. It's a retaining wall. The Temple Mount is the most important place. But I digress. Glenn Beck says, old hatreds are coming over the horizon. It's a well-laid plan. Right now, when you're paying $4 a gallon for gasoline, it's tough. Pretty soon, you're going to want somebody to blame. And politicians always are there to give you someone to blame. And mark my words, we will be paying $10 a gallon for gasoline. When that happens and someone comes to you and says, it's the Jews, it's Israel, if they would just give up Jerusalem, if they would just divide Jerusalem, why does Glenn Beck see this? This is what happened in the Holocaust. This is what happens, every single day in the news. Someone, prints something in Reuters or in the New York Times, and, a few people that don't like Jews get a hold of it. They start posting it. Then all of a sudden people think, it's the Jews! Of course it's the Jews! The Goldstone Report is a very good example of this. We get 10,000 missiles coming in from Gaza, we actually fight back, and then we're blamed. We're the only country in the world blamed for fighting back. Why does Glenn Beck have the insight here? This is what happened in the Holocaust. This is how the Holocaust happened. And Glenn Beck is saying it's going to happen again because it's already starting to happen. I'll give you one stupid post and then one really stupid post to end it. And I'm really hoping that I'm not going to need my puke bag. One of the Syrian Muslims that, broke through our borders ended up making it to Jaffa, which is right next to Tel Aviv. And he said that he hitchhiked there. He rode a bus alongside Israeli soldiers to Tel Aviv because he wanted to visit his homeland because his parents had a home there. Well, this guy's 28 years old. Unless his parents are about 85 or 90, he didn't have a home in Jaffa. That's just, talk about fuzzy math. This is just insane. But Haaretz posted it like this heartbreaking. He just wanted to break over our border and just get back to his home, which didn't exist back then. They failed to mention that. So I'm going to hold my bag while I'm telling you this next story, because you won't believe this, and I'm going to end with this. I always like to go out on a high note. There's a couple in Israel, I'm not going to mention their names because they've already done enough embarrassment to themselves. Why? Why rub it in anymore? These two Jews, they just named their daughter Like, L-I-K-E. It's not a Hebrew name. It has no biblical significance. They named it because it's a Facebook icon. The like button. They wanted to name their kid Like. If once people gave biblical names and that was the icon, then today this is one of the most famous icons in the world. That's what they said. So now this daughter is going to go through her whole life saying, oh yeah, my name is Like. Why would someone do this to their child? We have a mitzvah in the Torah, kibbud av v'em, meaning honoring your parents. How hard is it going to be for this child to honor idiots that named her Like? And always these girls say, that's her name! Her name is Like! I hope you enjoyed the show. I love doing the show. Because afterwards I just go take a nap. Because I'm so exhausted from the embarrassment and the stupidity. But we are moving in the right direction as a people and as a nation. So I hope that everyone will watch this. They'll post it on their Facebook page, their Twitter page. Apparently my mom now has a Twitter page, so I have to go follow. So please post this. We can really get this viral. This can become a really big daily thing. I'll promote anything that you guys want. If you send me a comment, I'll read it over the air. I really want to make this show something special.